So today I'm going to talk about how forgiveness can create a more just legal system by Martha Mino. So at the beginning of the speech, Martha asked a question of, would you ever forgive a person who killed a member of your families? And my answer is no. However, what if the person who killed your family was forced to do that or being threatened and he or she even have family left to raise? Will you forgive them and give them another chance? You may think this is a too extreme questions, but it is really worth thinking about it. And this is where Martha talks about in this TED Talk videos, forgiveness. So a lot of people might think all the criminal deserves it, but from her perspective, forgiveness can create a more just legal system. After years of teaching of being a law professors, she had found out that students are barely being taught about those tools of forgiveness. For instance, pardons, commutations, expungement, bankruptcy for debt, for so on, etc. What's more, those tools do not adequately used by the lawyers and officials neither. They often overlook the tools that law itself creates to allow forgiveness, when the principle should be the cornerstone of a thriving society instead of just convict their crime without any tolerations. So there's also important to mention that when those tools of forgiveness are being used, it have to be used fairly. It shouldn't be affected by the criminal's gender, races, age, or even appearance, which means without any bias. So she takes two examples. The first one is comparing the child soldiers and juvenile offenders. Second one is a story of a girl called Mercedes. These two all explain the importance of restorative justice, which is make those harmed and those who take responsibility for the harm to communicate about and address their needs in the aftermath of a crime, which is an approach to justice that seeks to repair harm by providing an opportunity for both sides. So at the process, you may find out those criminals might not as evil as you thought. And in the end, she also mentioned of some forgivenesses that have been used to make the world better, which all come to a conclusion of forgiveness is not for encouraging crime, but to see things from different aspect and learn to let go the resentment. And now I'm going to talk about my own opinions. At first, I couldn't agree with her statement. However, after listening to her speech, I was convinced by her. Resentment shouldn't be the basis of the law. Of course, law is made to punish those who made mistakes and committed crimes, but I think there should be some forgiveness involved to make a better system too. Although I still extremely hate those who killed or murdered the innocent victims, but just like she said, the forgiveness are not used without reasons. What's more, she also said that it should be used without bias. There are plenty of news about white people being pardoned or even acquitted when it comes to hurting people or even murdering that aren't white, like black or Asians. However, this is definitely not a way of making a world a thriving society. So in the end, I'm going to talk about the part that I like the most. It's definitely the last part, which is, she said, how law may forgive is not to deny the fact of wrongdoing, rather it's to widen the lens to enable glimpses of the larger patterns and enable new choices that can go forward if we can wipe the slate clean. So hope in the future the tool of forgiveness can be used adequately and fairly to make the whole society more kind and peacefully. Thank you.